Stephen, we are approaching the end of 2023. So what do you think the highs and lows have been this year across the Southwest?
Apart from working with you?
Well, okay. That's a high, obviously.
I guess we've been doing a lot of work at the senior end of the market. We've done an awful lot at director level, particularly on the generalist side,
Yep.
sort of HR director. We've also worked on a couple of global talent acquisition director roles,
Yep.
which has been really interesting.
Yeah.
Particularly because of the nature of the talent acquisition market this year.
Yeah,
as well.
That's definitely plateaued, hasn't it, the talent acquisition market, from where it was about 18 months ago.
Yeah, I mean, 18 months ago, people within talent acquisition were probably getting contacted, what?
Yeah.
10 times a day.
And you couldn't find them, could you?
No,
So,
no.
Yeah, we've definitely seen that plateaued. But I think we've seen there's been that steady flow across, junior roles as well as like you said, up to HR director levels. I think one of our biggest challenges has been fixed term contract versus permanent.
Yeah. And finding people who want to do a fixed term contract in a market that is perhaps geared towards, I guess it's sort of people wanting more permanent opportunities or wanting that security and stability of a permanent opportunity. So that has been really tricky. I think one of the things I have noticed much more this year is how sort of in years gone past we've talked about that sort of salary divide or London versus Bristol, London versus Birmingham or Manchester in terms of salaries, but that it's getting much narrower. Salaries are getting much closer to the London salaries, and also hybrid working has definitely helped the talent pool overall, because people are more open now to travelling. And I think one of the highs for me in the Southwest is how we've expanded our network and how we have gone further afield, like Cornwall, as well as kind of going more into Wales. So I think we have really developed that kind of network. And particularly South Wales, actually. So around Cardiff and Newport, particularly from financial services, but more, I would say, from a commerce and industry, particularly sort of those manufacturing and engineering businesses. There's a lot of site lead roles down there, sort of senior HR business partner lead type things. So we've done a lot in South Wales. Obviously, so Bristol and Bath is more sort of the bread and butter, as is Swindon. But it's kind of expanded a little bit more from there. Yeah,
definitely. And I think in terms of kind of the trends that we've seen, I'm sure you'll agree with me, one of the biggest trends I've seen is in the early careers space, especially within professional services. I know that I've done a number of those roles where it just seems that actually people are really investing. Very tricky to fill, but people are investing in that early careers piece, which I don't think we probably would have seen about 12 months ago.
No, I mean, I guess the general demand for business partners particularly. Talent acquisition, whilst we've worked on talent acquisition roles, possibly more at the junior end. We haven't seen the more senior level stuff there. And then again, sort of with the centre of excellence roles. So again, particularly across reward and learning and development and talent development.
And those shared services roles, we've seen a few of those this year as well, haven't we?
Basically we've seen all roles.
No, true. I think an interesting area for me especially is the role of a senior HR advisor now. That is a lot more in demand, especially within SME organisations, because people are expecting more from your generalist HR advisors. So I think there's a lot more demand for somebody that isn't quite at that business partner level, but they want more than an advisor.
That's why salary's been tricky. Because that's where I think the salary increase has happened much more at the junior levels possibly. And perhaps people at that level, their expectations are slightly more in terms of salaries. We've seen that divide reduce between London, Bath, Bristol. It's got much closer. The gap's got so much closer.
Oh, definitely. So what would you say we're looking at going into 2024?
How long's a piece of string? I don't know. I think meeting up with clients recently in Bristol, some quite big clients in Bristol, they are talking about obviously next year and their plans for 2024. They're talking about hiring. I guess the cynic in me is, will that come to fruition? Will they kind of not promise on that, but will we see those hiring trends? It has been a slightly depressed year. Is that because of COVID and over hiring during those 2 years?
Or is it because you work with me?
But we might see that bounce back a little.
Yeah.
I think that bounce back next year is the likely, but I think it's going to be a step.
It's going to be slow, isn't it? Yeah,
change,
yeah. I think from what I've heard from my clients is there is a lot of positive noise coming out of the market for next year. I think this year, like you said, there has been quite a bit of uncertainty. Whilst we've remained busy, there has been a lot more nervousness in the market, but I think the positive noise is coming, but it's more watch this space and see what happens.
Yeah. And we've got another year's of experience.
There we go.
Yeah.
What more do you need?
Better.
Oh, and you get to work with me for another year. Oh. So any HR professionals, clients or candidates looking to hire into their teams or for new opportunities in 2024, please reach out to me, Amy Eldred or Stephen Menko at Fraser Jones.